So, Milky Chance, welcome to Claro Música. How are you?
Thank you. We're
Pretty
good.
How has your visit to Mexico been so far?
Pretty good. Busy, very busy. I mean, we landed 2 days ago.
2 days ago, yeah.
And yeah, done a lot of interviews and stuff like that. But it's nice to be back. It's cool.
Do you have any special plans for your visit to Mexico besides work?
This trip is pretty short and pretty tight. But last time we came like 1 year ago, we had a couple days off and we just, walked around the city a little bit. It's pretty nice.
To start the interview, can you tell us about how the band was formed?
Yeah, it was back in 2012. So we met each other in high school, and we were finishing high school in 2012, and yeah, already loaded up like 3 or 4 songs on YouTube, and then we just had a free summer with not that much to do. We just continued making music, and we decided to record all the other songs and to make a record actually, and but just just for fun, and we didn't even have like the idea or like the vision of let's start a band and stuff like that. So we're just recording the music and having a really nice experience doing that, and then all things kind of were getting bigger, and like we got a lot of response on YouTube and stuff like that, and then we had the first our first shows in Germany, and then it more and more became a project and a band automatically, and then yeah, from that it was a pretty crazy trip over the past 6 years.
And why did you decide to name the band Milky Chance, or what does it mean?
It doesn't mean anything. It's just a weird combination of 2 words. I came up with that name like even way earlier before we started recording those tracks. So like at the age of 15 or something, I started writing songs, or like I was trying to write songs, and when I saved them on my computer, I was making up band names, and that was one of them. And then when we started doing this, we just took that one, because it's a weird name, but it just got stuck in our head, and we just took it.
Perfect. And who were your musical influences when you started music?
When we started making music, or like right now, like
I think it's like so much. I think I mean, in the time when we met, we did we had a band as well, and we like listened to a lot of old tunes, also from our parents, like a lot of blues and jazz and like rock, but also like funk back then, and like soul, and so it really like the influence comes from like all kind of genres. So I think we were never those like one in particular genre we were attached to. So it's like, yeah, we can like also hip hop, and like there's all that.
Yeah, bunch of stuff.
And since you started to today, how has the band evolved?
Well, we started as like a 2-piece, and then we like our friend Antonio, also from school, joined us like 1 or 2 years later, and now we're a 4-piece. Like with the second album, we added a drummer, so now we're 4 people on stage, 4 musicians, and yeah, that's the story.
So you just released Mind the Moon, right?
Mm-hmm.
How is this different from your previous albums?
I mean, with this album we wanted to go back like to that kind of minimalistic way of producing, like actually like we did with the first album. Like with the second album we were in a big professional studio for the first time. The first album we recorded at my parents' house, like super DIY, like didn't have any idea of anything. We were just like turning knobs and, you know, trying things out. So we didn't have any knowledge about, you know, like engineering and stuff like that. Then we went to a professional studio, made a lot of experiences there, worked with a producer for the first time, and then with this third album, I think it all comes together, you know, like having that knowledge, you know, from being in studios, using lots of different gear also, and but also like this, yeah, we just went back to that kind of minimalistic way of producing, and I think
also the diversity,
yeah,
you know, of like the music, like what we said about the influence, like became very like clear on that album, or like we did a better job in like in the like all the songs, like going through like the genres and like doing this melting pot.
Also, this album was recorded in different studios, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was the hardest thing about doing this way?
Actually, it was easier.
It was pretty nice. I mean, it was the first time doing it for us in that way. But that was also like kind of the idea that we had in the beginning, that we wanted to record this album in different places, because we made the experience being in different studios. Like every studio has its own vibe, every room has its own sound. There's different equipment, different instruments in the studios, and you just like, you know, if you pick up an instrument like a guitar or like, I don't know, like a piano or whatever that you haven't played before, you know, you just like you play different stuff on it, you know. It's just like, it can be very inspiring, and we wanted to have that, being inspired by the surrounding in the moment, and yeah, that was the plan, so we did that, and that was pretty nice. It was also pretty nice to have gaps in between, so we started in Kassel in a home studio for like 4 weeks, I guess, so we were recording there. Then we took 2 weeks off, then we went to Italy for 2 weeks, then went back to Kassel, you know, and having these breaks in between was, I think, very helpful, because you could, you know, make a step back from what you've done, you know, when you like, you were in the studio last week and you did a lot of stuff and you were like totally into it and you really liked it, but then you know, a week later, you know, with a fresh, you know, like fresh ears and fresh mind, you feel sometimes like ooh, that's weird, like you don't, you know, I think it's very helpful to have breaks in between, to get an outside perspective.
And also
Almost.
and also not to like get too much in a routine.
Yeah.
Because like with the last album, we like mostly recorded it in one studio session, you know, like over a month or something. And then like if you go every day in the morning and come back at night, you can't like find yourself quickly in like something like a routine that sometimes takes away like creativity, and you know, you feeling like fresh, and like that was like the better way of like getting out of like this daily routine thing. Like you have like a block, you go somewhere else, which already like takes you out of your normal daily thing, you know?
Yeah.
So it was actually, yeah, not hard, it was better.
Right. Also, this album has several collaborations.
Mm-hmm.
Which one did you enjoy the most?
Oh, they're all very different. So, I mean, for example, Tash Sultana we met on tour, first time in 2015 in Australia. So she's from Melbourne. And then we spent some time together last year touring in Latin America, also Mexico. And that was the moment when we started thinking about working together in the future. So there's like there was a, you know, like a personal connection. Like we were, you know, we knew each other and we were just like, you know, let's do something together. So that was pretty nice that it just turned out being that cool. It was pretty fun working with her. And on the other hand, like with Lady Smith, like Black Mambazo, for example, we never met these guys. You know, we so back in high school we were singing in the high school choir, and that was the time when we got to know our music, because our teacher was bringing in, you know, we were singing their arrangements in the choir, and we thought like it's like the most, you know, one of the most unique sounding choirs in the world. And then we were working on that song called Eden's House in the studio, tried out things out. Then in the end we were like, this is not the right direction. And then I think Philip was like, you know, like, what about a choir? I hear like more voices. And then we were just like asking them via mail. Like just like, well, let's ask them, you know, maybe they responded to us, and they did. And that was pretty cool. But it was, yeah, and then we just sent it over the demo, and they were recording some lines at their studio and sent it back and forth. But I think like only
yeah, two or three rounds.
Yeah, it was pretty easy.
Right.
Very enjoyable.
If you could travel back in time, which one of your songs would you choose as like like your debut song? Or debut song?
Debut song?
Yeah, one of your songs.
I mean, what was I think the first song on YouTube was actually Flash Junk Mind, I remember. And I think Stolen Dance was the second.
Third.
Or the third, even the third song. So, I mean, it's, I don't know. I think it was fine like that. I mean, it's also like, you know, of course, now we feel, you know, we developed as musicians, and I think we feel very comfortable and also confident with what we're doing now. So you could also say, like, thinking of that our third album would have been our first album would have been nice, but it's also like, you know, it's very theoretically, you know, it's just like kind of.
So this question is for you. In your videos, we see you like with crazy haircuts and stuff like that. What's your secret style for your haircuts?
My secret style?
Yeah.
Oh, it's just changing all the time. I mean, our haircuts are like, both of our haircuts are changing constantly very much. I mean, I can remember myself having this crazy hair like 4 or 5 years ago. I can remember Philip having, you know, no hair. He cut it all off. So now it's just growing. I mean, it depends on how you feel, you know. Right. But I mean, sometimes like when I see like photos or like videos from back then, like where I had this hair, I'm like, it doesn't look nice. I'm like, oh god, like what, like, what's that? What kind of style is that? But it's funny, yeah, it's nice.
Perfect. And the last questions. What plans do you have for the next year?
Well, from now on we're pretty much touring. Like after Christmas we're gonna go to Australia and do some festivals and shows, and then we come back for Europe, and after that we're gonna come here and then pretty much keep touring like North America, and then hopefully by the end of the year come back to Latin America again.
Hey guys, I'm Clemens.
I'm Philip.
We're Milky Chance. We hope you enjoyed watching our interview, and maybe see you out there on the road.